crazy. Morris back to throw it again. Now he's scrambling, wants to throw it on the run. Left-hand side, he has a man in the end zone. It's going to be caught by Ty Conklin. Was he in? Still waiting on the indication. There it is, touchdown, Ty Conklin.
The sloppy conditions didn't help Central Michigan on homecoming Saturday as they fell to the Rockets 30-10 at Kelly Short Stadium. We'll give you the highlights coming up next on Chippewa Rewind. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Chippewa Rewind with head coach John Bonamego. I'm Adam Jacksa. Coach, a difficult loss on Saturday, homecoming. It was wet and not a great day out, and unfortunately not the finish you wanted. When you look back at the tape, what changes needed to be made from watching the game?
Obviously very disappointed in the loss. We really found a hard time getting any rhythm offensively, especially in the first half. The weather conditions, I kind of put a lot of that on myself. I should have really stepped in and demanded that we run the ball more, commit more to the run. I thought in the early part of that game, especially the first half, with the exception of a handful of plays, I thought our defense played really well. But we have to play complementary football, especially in the conditions like that. You know, for us to go three and out, and continue to put them on the field against the offense that's explosive as Toledo's is, it's just not good football. So I really, you know, I'm going to shoulder this. It's my responsibility. I'm the head football coach, and you know, we'll learn from this. We've got to rebound. You know, there was a lot of hurting guys in that locker room today, coaches and myself as well. And we're hurting because we know we're capable of much better. We deserve better. The players deserve better. Our fans deserve better. We've just got to refocus and find a way to win this coming week and get this bad taste out of our mouth.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights on Saturday. A wet and rainy day in Kelly Short Stadium for homecoming Central Michigan welcoming in Toledo. And Coach, when did you decide to kick an onside kick to start the game?
It was really as the week kind of progressed and I watched us practice it. You know, the critical component on this is always the kick. You want to know that the kicker can make the kick. You know, in your film study, there's certain things that you look for, you know, like you would on any defense. You look for holes. We saw a little bit of an alignment weakness by Toledo. I announced to the team the night before that we were going to start the game with the surprise onside kick and challenge the defense to stop them if, in the event that we didn't get it back. It's a shame that we didn't get this one. It was really kind of in and out of our hands. Yeah, the weather very unkind. You don't come up with the kick, but as you mentioned, you challenge your defense in a huge 4th and 1 to stop them in a short field. I was really surprised they didn't attempt the field goal here, but they decided to go for it. We knocked people back, which you see the ball carrier run in the back of one of his offensive linemen. It forces him to go east-west, and then we get a good push from inside out with the rest of the defense. A nice stop there. No surprise it's senior captain Joey Osman coming up with the play. This is where they break through a couple times in the game, a 4th and 1, a 4th and 2, and they scored on both. I've never been a part of a game where there have been 2 4th down touchdowns. This one, we got sealed on the backside. We misplayed a little bit on the front side. They got a downhill run, and we're a little late coming over in the secondary support, and now the ball's in the secondary and ends up a score. Very unfortunate, highly disappointed that we allowed that to happen. You know, we'll get it rectified here shortly. 7-0 Rockets. They do add a field goal, go in front 10-0. You're driving, and Shane gets picked off trying to find Conklin. Yeah, you know, he threw this just a little bit behind Conk here. He's breaking out, and the linebacker does a really nice job of selling out, laying out, and making the pick. It was a nice play by that kid. Again, as hard as it was to catch the ball, it was difficult to throw it as well.
So it remains 10-0, and again, your defense nearly able to get off the field. Here's the other fourth down touchdown.
Yeah, this one we were in better position. We actually, this should have been stopped for probably a 2-yard loss right here, but we missed the tackle. And then, Swanson's a good back. He's been a good player there for a number of years. He sees the field well. He's a strong runner, and he's able to accelerate there through some angles. And, we get to him, but just not soon enough.
So 17-0 the score going into the half. Did it throw your defense off just because of how much they normally pass the ball and they came out run heavy in that game?
We felt like we needed to shut down the run. We knew that was going to be a big part of it. We felt we were game planned well to defend the pass. It was more, I think, a game where we got worn down after a while. You have limited number of bodies in there, especially on the inside, on the defensive line. I think, from an effort standpoint, I felt like our defense played admirably. They played hard. Your best defense is a good offense. We just kept putting them on the field too often, especially in that first half.
Yeah, you mentioned in your postgame, Rockets had the ball, I think, 17 more minutes than your team. Certainly doesn't make it easier. When we do come back, we'll see the Chippewas try and come back, get some points on the board in the second half. Stay with us on Chippewa Rewind.
I remember when I was looking at schools, my dad told me that when I found the right one, I would definitely know, and it was going to be a feeling. And when I was here, it felt like home. And the people here, they felt like family. And I remember being in the bookstore, and I was picking out all this apparel, but I was like, what, do you think you're coming here or something? I was like, matter of fact, I think I am.
I would like to say thank you so much for all of your support and donations that you've given to our university over the course of the years. We look forward to making you proud on and off the field, not only the football team, but all of the athletic programs at our university, and we promise to make you proud.
I'd like to personally thank you for your support and investment in Central Michigan athletics. Your generosity allows our student athletes to compete on a national level, academically, athletically, and personally. Once again, thank you for your support, and fire up Chips.
Back on Chippewa Rewind as we start the second half. Toledo in front 17-0. And Coach, you mentioned it in your post game that you went into halftime and you said your team needed to run the football more.
Exactly. I mean, it was spoken in no uncertain terms with the offensive staff that we had to find a way to run the football and move it on the ground. And, we did that. We had the opening drive that stalled because of a holding penalty, but we were able to at least move the ball down the field and then came right back, got into field goal range. Time of possession in college football with the spread offenses has really become a little bit of an insignificant statistic. It's more focused now on the number of plays that you can run in the up-tempo offenses. But when you get into a game like the one we were in yesterday, where the conditions are not good, time of possession, turnovers is always right at the top of the list. But then, time of possession moves right up there, as well does rushing yards. And that was the type of game we were in.
Well, in order for your team to have a chance, your defense had to keep you in it in that third quarter. They did. Joe Osman, his 20th career sack here to start the highlights here in the second half.
Joey's going to find a way to get to the quarterback if there's a way to get there. Here we use him on a little tech stunt, which is the tackle going first, and then Joey coming underneath. So that creates a pick right there, and he's able to beat the guard, and good job there by Joey using it and getting free.
Osman becomes one of just 5 players ever in Central Michigan football program history that has 20 or more sacks, and that allows your offense to go on their best drive of the day. Mark Chapman with a huge couple of catches here. Here's the big one for 33.
This was a nice job by Shane dropping the ball in over the linebacker and in front of the safety. Chap does a good job of making the catch, and he's hit immediately, but it's a big gain, as you mentioned, and we're moving.
Chapman for one, you go right back to him, he gets you to 1st and goal.
Yeah, this is another good job here. We kind of hit him on an in-breaking route there. He does a nice job of catching the ball. Safety's there to make the tackle, and we're 1st and goal from the 4.
Chippewas have to settle for a field goal, do get on the board. It's 17-3 at that point. Toledo comes up with a couple of touchdowns to push it to 30-3. Now this is late in the game. under a minute to go, but your team's still fighting hard. Eric Cooper comes up with the catch.
You know, it's just one of those things. You know, you can either shut it down here. I just believe in competing for the final play. You know, what do you have to lose? You know, I think it's important to finish games. But anything can happen in a football game. I've seen it a number of times, and so, you know, you just keep fighting until the very end. That last play to Conklin is a good job here by, you know, Shane, you know, kind of breaks contain here in the pocket. The safety, I think, loses Conklin. He's able to get behind him, and he drops the ball in there for a touchdown.
Final score, Toledo 30, Central Michigan 10. Chippewas fall to 3-4, 1-2 in the Mid-American Conference. And Coach, this is one of those times in the season, it's gut check time.
Sure is.
Where does your squad go from here?
Well, it's exactly what I told them. I mean, we're at a crossroads right now, and we can go one way or the other. You know, we've got to stay together. We've got to keep the locker room together. You know, you have to ignore the noise because I know it's out there. You know, people have their opinions, and you know, what I tell them is they have their opinions because they care. You know, you want to be at a place where people care enough to follow your team and to be disappointed when things don't go well. I can assure everybody that, you know, there isn't anyone on the planet that's more disappointed than I am. And, you know, right behind me is, you know, the rest of our staff and those players in the locker room. So we got a good group of leaders. We can't let Toledo beat us twice. We've got a big challenge this week going on the road, another conference opponent who's coming off of a bye week, so and who's really hungry for a win. We'll dot every I and cross every T in our preparation, and we'll go and play as hard as we can to try and get a win.
That next team, Ball State on the road, a MAC West battle coming up in Muncie. We'll take a look at the Cardinals, but first when we come back, we take a look at your other half, Paulette Bonamego. You won't want to miss it. Stay with us. Come out and support Central Michigan in their next home football game on Wednesday, November 8th. The Chippewas welcome in the Eastern Michigan Eagles to Kelly Short Stadium. Game time is still to be determined. It's the first Wednesday home game, so claim your seats before it's too late. You can purchase tickets by visiting Ticket Central, calling 1-888-FIRE-UP2, or by going to cmuchippewas.com. Once again, we hope to see you at Kelly Short Stadium on November 8th for a MAC West showdown against Eastern Michigan. Kickoff is still to be determined.
We met in Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm from. I had been a part of the Jacksonville Jaguars cheerleading group. The mascot for the Jaguars and the owner's wife had wanted us to get together. They thought that we'd make a good couple, and so they kind of brought us together, and from there it just happened. I grew up in Jacksonville at the beach, born and raised, and my parents still live there, same neighborhood, and it's home. But it was good to meet him there, and he was able to work with Coach Coughlin for, you know, good 5 years, and we were able to enjoy my family, you know, us together before he whisked me off to Green Bay. I've enjoyed everywhere we've been. I love meeting different, you know, just being part of different teams, different cultures, and each city and each team has its own story. And usually, I mean, everywhere we've been has been a wonderful experience. Everywhere is different, and each place has its own magic. And you just fall in love with the team, you fall in love with the people that you're in the trenches with every day, and that goes for the wives too. And it's just a special life. I don't take it for granted, never have. And being in the college circuit now, it's the same. It's, you know, it's a big family.
Paulette remembers the first time she heard about Central Michigan and what it meant to her way back when.
That was our first date at Dairy Queen. We got to talking, and that was what we talked about, was where he wanted to go with his career and where he wanted to end up and what his goals were, and that was his goal. I was like, okay, I've traveled the country with my dancing, I've done a lot, where's Mount Pleasant? I was excited. I'm a football person, football girl. Raised in it, my family's all about football. So when, you know, listening to him talk, I was very interested about it because it's the sport I love. But when he talked about the fact that's where he played, this is where his heart was, just really prideful, just very proud of the school and what it stood for, and this is where he wanted to end up inevitably. Just it was not going to be anything else but CMU. This has been, of course, the most special because it's his dream. So following him and watching him enjoy his dream and watch him achieve this goal has been, I can't put it into words. Watching him every day get up to go to work, he's never too tired, never complains. Win or lose, he's here to make things great, and hopefully he has the chance to get that championship and get more after that. I believe he'll do it. Everything he's ever said he's going to do, he's done it.
Coach, when you came to Central Michigan, we remember your first press conference, and you looked at Paulette and said, "I'm a pretty good recruiter," and you pointed to her. You got pretty lucky with bringing her in, didn't you?
There's no question, and she's not just my better half. She's like my better 7/8. Yeah, every time I see her, I'm reminded about just how far I outpunted my coverage. So she's, what can you say? She's my everything. She's very involved with the program, with the other wives, and especially our players. They nicknamed her Mama B. Louis Palmer gave her that nickname. It's stuck, and she texts them. She makes sure she knows when everybody's birthday is. She's always there for them if they need a woman's opinion. And she's like a mom away from home for all of our players.
And the fact that she's traveled everywhere with you. You were so many different stops in the NFL, and she mentioned in there she didn't even know where Mount Pleasant was, and she still came up here and supported you.
Coaches' wives are special. It takes a unique breed. It's not for everyone. A lot of people think that it's a glamorous lifestyle, but it's far from that. It's a lot of time away from home. It's long hours. It's moving. The house that we're in right now is, I believe, the 7th home that we have purchased together. That's not counting at least that many rentals. That was one of the appeals of coming back here, is to hopefully have the opportunity to set up some roots, establish something, build on this tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of. For me, it's personal. This is my school.
Well, it's certainly great that she gets to share that with you. You mentioned being out on the road a lot. Your team is back out on the road this weekend at Ball State, and for whatever reason, the Cardinals and the Chippewas, it always seems like it comes down to the last couple of plays. Last two have been 5-point combined victories. This is the 50th meeting between your two programs, 24, 24, and 1. Doesn't get much closer than that. How do you go down there and find a way to get back in the win column?
Well, we got a great plan. I think our team's starting to get a little bit healthier. Got the injury report today. We'll get some guys back at practice this week. Those are all positive signs. And, we got to, take everything that's happened in the past, really put it behind us, and really focus our sights on that game and preparing and doing the things that we need to do to help us win the football game.
All right, Coach. Well, you're 2-0 against the Cardinals. Hopefully it's 3-0 after Saturday. Good luck to you this weekend on the road in Muncie.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Chippewa Rewind. We'll have the highlights of hopefully a Chippewa win at Ball State this weekend. For Coach John Bonamego, I'm Adam Jackson. Have a terrific week and fire up Chips.